What's up, music fans? Welcome to the Vault Reviews, where we give you our take on some albums you should check out and maybe some you should avoid. I'm one of your hosts, Zan Morning, and Brent's our other host, and he's with us, of course, today. Brent, how's it going? You ready to review some more albums?
Oh, dude, I'm ready for this one. I'm excited.
Yep, I'm going to let you introduce this one in just 1 second, because this album is one that you actually turned on to me, and I was kind of caught off guard and blown away for it for the time that it came out. But before we do that, we got to let you know you can send us anything you want to send us, comments, questions, send us something you want us to review, thevaultmusic1@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter at thevaultmusic1, facebook.com/thevaultrvws, and then check us out on YouTube and Patreon. Please support, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. The more people we can get involved, the more people that can hear more about these bands we're talking about and these albums. So, Brent, I'm going to let you kick things off. Introduce this album we got today.
Okay, well, I don't have as much history written down as you normally do on this, so maybe you can pick up my slack on that.
Well, I'll tell you why. It's because we listen to it so much that we know it all.
Well, exactly. I just can't give you a whole lot of details about the band other than the fact that they rock.
Yeah, you don't need any. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's actually really weird. I went through this stage, I don't remember how many years ago now. It's been a few, where I was looking for, quote unquote, heavy Christian metal, like power metal. I'm a huge power metal fan. I think you just turned me on to Dragon Force before they blew up and, became the whole debacle they became.
Right.
But anyway, I had this big, huge power metal kick, and then I got on this huge, I wanted Christian power metal, and somehow this band came up, and the band is Cage. We talked about them on the Obscure Bands. I actually mentioned these guys. And they're not technically a Christian band, I don't think, because
no, they're
looking
not.
at some of their other stuff, they're really not. But this album that we're reviewing is called Hell Destroyer. And, yeah, it's literally as ridiculous as it sounds, and in a very good way, in my opinion. Anyway, if it's pure power metal. I don't even know how else to get past that. I mean, just screeching, high-pitched wails and shrieks and howls, and just amazing guitars. Do you want to help with the introduction at all? Because, other than just going into the music.
Well, the thing for me, this came out in 2007, and while I was getting into power metal, early 2000s, mid-2000s, I was going back, I was listening to stuff like Blind Guardian, Halloween, stuff like that. And then you kind of came out of left field with this one, which not only is it a band I hadn't heard, but, this is a newer band.
Right.
And with really good production and heavier than probably any power metal band that I had heard. The production's really good on it, which here we are jumping into it ahead of time. But I was like, this wasn't my favorite album ever, but it definitely caught me off guard and got my attention real quick with pretty much the first opening track, the title track, Hell Destroyer. So let's just kick things off. What's your favorite aspect of the album?
Honestly, there's a couple different things I really enjoy. I don't know if I've mentioned on this podcast or not. I tend to be a fan of conspiracy theories, and don't take that for me wearing a tinfoil hat on the other end of this microphone and checking out the window for the helicopters. I'm a huge fan of them. It doesn't mean I believe 98% of them, to be honest with you. But they're fun. They're entertaining. It's like reading a very good fiction book to me. And the thing about this album is it is a complete, total concept album. And the concept is basically the end of days. And I absolutely love that. It literally goes, you've got songs like Hell Destroyer and Christ Hammer and Rise of the Beast. It goes into the Bohemian Grove and New World Order stuff. And it's just all thrown in here with kind of your crazy, wacky conspiracy theories thrown into a power metal album. I absolutely love that. I thought that was amazing when I first heard it. I'm like, oh my God, these guys are freaking awesome. So that's honestly one of my favorite parts of it. Another one is the vocals. To me, the vocals sell the album. It ends up being a little bit of a detriment towards the end because, honestly, it's a slog fest through this album. There are so many tracks. And by the end of it, if you were not a huge power metal fan, it can seriously wear on you. I know we kind of talked about that a little bit beforehand. Do you want to go into that at all yet?
Yeah, I'll kind of piggyback on what you said to start things off. The content was pretty original.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some bands like Mortification doing stuff like Hammer of God, but that not Christ Hammer talking about, and like it was almost a concept album really,
yeah,
using all these conspiracy theories and Christian based themes and all this stuff. And just because don't get turned off. I know there's a lot of people out there that hear the word Christian and heavy metal. That's another topic for another day. But this is not a Christian band. It's just some thematic elements in this. So whether you subscribe to Christianity or you don't, or you like metal, you don't, just give this one a shot, because that's not necessarily what it's about. It's just themes, really.
yeah.
But yeah, this is an interesting one. I'll start with the vocals. The initial scream or scream, whatever, shriek, I don't know how you want to call it. Whatever it is, it's amazing. That opens up the song Hell Destroyer. In fact, that song Hell Destroyer pretty much sums up the whole album.
Yes.
It blows you away right from the gate. And the first thing that I noticed, and that not that the vocals are not that they sound like Rob Halford, but the total package of this band reminds me so much of like Painkiller era, early 90s Judas Priest when they got really heavy. That's what this really reminds me of. So that's all I've got just to kind of kick things off. So we already established the vocals that are pretty amazing. What did you think of the guitar work and drums or production? Anything else?
The production's actually pretty good. There were a few moments that some of the vocals weren't, and you can't tell if it's because like the range the guy has. I'm assuming it's one vocalist. Honestly, haven't looked that far.
It is. Yeah, well, there's some group vocals, but it's mainly just the one guy. Yeah.
He's got a pretty good range, to be honest with you. Some of it gets a little kind of, if you've got like a really good pair of headphones and you're listening to it, it can get a little weird sounding. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Maybe it was just me. But I mean, overall, the vocals are fantastic. I mean, I'm not trying to dog on that at all. It's fantastic. Other than that, the production's really, really clean. The guitars are just blistering. I mean, almost the entire album, it doesn't really slow down unless they do, like, kind of like the Circle of Light, which introduces the song Christ Hammer. I don't even know what to say other than to just laugh, because, I mean, the whole thing, it just goes into Christ telling them to gather the tools of his destruction, that they'll need it in the future, and they get the Christ hammer, which they can use to slay their foes. Yeah, it's like that with this entire album. Which is honestly, I think, fantastic. It's part of what actually sold me on the album. But yeah, I mean, the guitars are just blistering fast. The drumming's well done. The music overall is actually very, very, very well done. I was really impressed. That's what really turned me onto it after I heard the initial, I guess, shriek, like you said, of Hell Destroyer. If you only listen to one song, you're going to pick one. Listen to Hell Destroyer. If you like it, I guarantee you will like most of the rest of the album.
Yeah, production was really good for, power metal coming out at this time. The production was obviously getting a lot better. This wasn't, like I said, the Blind Guardians and the Halloweens and the stuff like that originally started coming out in the 80s. Time moves on, and so does the production. Yep. So, but this was, like I said, a lot heavier than a lot of the power metal stuff, because, a lot of the power metal stuff, you're expecting some of this kind of sing-along anthem kind of songs, like I keep using Blind Guardian because they're like kind of the, go-to band for power metal. They have a lot of sing-along type songs, and while it is metal and it's heavy and it's cool, this was more like heavy metal with power metal themes, such as the lyrical content with the fantasy and the twist on it with the conspiracy stuff instead of just swords and dragons and sorcery. I mean, it was kind of like that, but on a different level. And then the vocals, a lot of the power metal had the clean, high-pitched vocals. This, turns that up to 11, to use a Spinal Tap reference. I mean, it's just, or maybe even like turns it up to 15, so to speak.
Yeah.
And, it's just a total package for a total band. They're not my favorite band, and we'll jump into that right now, but it's very, very solid album. So let's go into the negatives. What negatives did you have on this?
One of them is you start getting to the end of it, and like I mentioned before, I know we talked about this, there are 21 songs on this. and it's 21 songs that are very, very, very similar. I mean, yeah, they're all really well done. For the most part, the music's really good. It's just, to me, it eventually, it almost just beats you into submission. I guess is the best way I can think to say it right now. Um, it's almost too long. I kind of like some of my power metal, at least like heavy, heavy stuff like this. If there's not just an amazing range of just, different elements and stuff coming in, it kind of, get in, get out, get done type thing.
Right.
Uh, that's honestly one of my biggest ones. I don't know. Nothing really else comes to mind. Some of the songs don't hold up as well as some of the other ones, and part of that's just because some of the really, really good ones are just that really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's hard to kind of keep up with some of those. Like the song Hell Destroyer, Christ Hammer, and some of those are just amazing songs. I mean, they're just fantastic. And then you've got other ones that they're kind of very repetitious. Some of the chorus stuff just doesn't seem like it fits well, like together as a song, if that makes any sense. I don't know. What all you got?
I've really got two things. The first one is, we talked about this album being long. All these little like intro mini songs in between each song. In fact, when I ripped this album onto my iPod, it basically cut the album in half because I left all of those out of it.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that it was like, okay, like, and I understand it kind of tells the story and blends in with the songs and explains things. But, most of the time when I'm listening to music, I just want to rock. And so I was like constantly skipping to the actual songs. That was one negative. And then to me, the album, it's almost like, it's kind of like fireworks. It just goes off with a bang right off the bat and then slowly fizzles out. Not that the songs are bad, but they just like, it's almost like they put their best song as their first song and you almost can't top it. And it just kind of slowly starts going downhill for me as I listen to it, which by the time I get to the middle of the album, I'm kind of burned out. And it's not that it's bad. It's just like, okay, I kind of want to go listen to Hell Destroyer again.
And that's exactly what I was trying to say. You said it a little bit better than I did. They have such just great stuff. And like you said, I think the fireworks example is perfect because, you go to some of these fireworks shows in the beginning, and then like, it's like 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Someone's got a sparkler, and it's like, I don't even care.
Well, and the songs themselves, one thing I liked about it is that they're not that long, the actual music songs. Yep. So that helps out a little bit with that.
Yeah. But no, I agree, and that's what I was trying to say. Like I said, you said it a little bit better than I did. So, all right, what else you got on it, man?
That's pretty much it. I didn't have any other songs written down other than just Hell Destroyer. It's amazing. I mean, I guess if you are going to not want to buy this album, at least go download that on iTunes if you can find it for $1 or whatever, because it's probably going to be your best dollar you've ever spent if they've got it even for sale. Yeah. I don't even know if they have it, but Let's jump into the rating, the Vault star rating, 1 star being the worst, 5 stars being the best. What do you give this album? I
give it a 4, and that's because it really is, I think, a cut above a lot of the stuff out right now. I mean, well, I say that. I'll stand behind that. The vocals are fantastic. The guy's range is great. If you like that stuff, it's just amazing. The guitar work is very, very, very well done. I mean, it's blistering. There's nothing overly just amazing, but it's all just so fast and so well done. And like you said, I mean, the songs are great. Hell Destroyer it's honestly one of the best songs like of this genre I think I've ever heard.
I agree.
And even though the album tends to fizzle out and everything, one of the best things you could do with this album, and maybe for a whole album review I might should lower the score for this, but I'm not going to, is to get like a mix and put like everything except for the little kind of intro songs and stuff on a mix and just put it on shuffle, because if you can kind of step away from the album as a whole, every song is actually really pretty good.
Yeah, I agree, because that's how I have it on my iPod, and occasionally a song will come on that is not Hell Destroyer, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is Cage. I forgot how good this was.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, honestly, for that, I've got to give it a 4. If this album was half the length that it is, I could probably actually go up a little bit higher. But it does tend to, like you said, it fizzles out towards the end, and just by the time you get to actually what is a pretty decent tribute to King Diamond, you almost don't care. And it's like, okay, that's assuming you actually make it through, down to that point. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a good solid 4, and it's definitely something you need to check out if you're a fan of the high pitched, just shrieks and scream vocals. I don't, like power metal type vocals. It's great.
I'm gonna get a 3 3/4. I would have given it a 4. I maybe would have given it even a 4 1/4. But those little songs in between to put this album at what, 23 tracks, 22, 23? Is that right?
I'm showing 21 on the track list right now.
Okay, so I was close. Yeah. You cut that in half, really, 12, 13 songs, 11 even. That would have been a lot better. And then if they would have, I guess, maybe not put Hell Destroyer as the first track, maybe kind of change the layout of the songs around. But maybe they're putting an order to kind of tell the story. I don't know. I mean, I did pick up on a lot of the lyrical content, but I know you're more of a lyrical guy than I am. Is that something that makes sense?
Honestly, Hell Destroyer I think would have fit better as the last song, because you kind of go through this whole, everything kind of goes to hell. Christ is killed, and then people are being sacrificed in the Bohemian Grove, and then everything kind of changes, and it kind of takes the other direction. And I think honestly, Hell Destroyer could have fit as one of the very last songs as well as it did the first.
Interesting. Maybe they should have done that. So
yeah.
We're gonna round up and just give this a 4 because I am not doing the math.
I don't blame that either.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because, like I said, I think my complaints maybe just a little bit nitpicky. Right. So, this is definitely an album to check out. And if you're not even a metal fan, just go to iTunes, pay the 99 cents, check out the song Hell Destroyer. Probably one of the best songs I've ever heard, period, of any genre. Yeah. No matter what. Any last words?
No, just be sure to check it out. It's a great album, and it's actually a lot of fun. And that's one thing I've noticed about the band. You keep up on Facebook, stuff like that. Not that I keep up with the band, but just keep up with what the band's doing. And it's it's a lot of fun. The band's all about having fun, and that's what this album's really about, honestly.
So don't forget, you can send us comments, questions, hate mail, albums you want to hear, albums you don't want to hear, anything really. thevaultmusic1@gmail.com. You can send us the same thing on Twitter @thevaultmusic1. Follow us, retweet us, all that good stuff. Facebook.com/thevaultrvws, and we're on YouTube, Podomatic, Instagram. Check us out on all those formats. But until the next review, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.